Hey guys, this is the video for project number 5, which is charcoal portraits. There's going to be a few demonstrations embedded throughout this document, so make sure that you watch those because those are going to be particularly important for this project. Okay, so your objective for this project is you're going to be using a black and white photograph from the list below, and I've given you about 9 to choose from. Draw a portrait in charcoal using the proper proportions of the face and proper charcoal technique. Previous student examples are listed right here. These are both from last year. So, I thought I'd include those because they're fairly relevant. All right, so vocabulary for this project. Charcoal drawing is the use of charred sticks of wood to make finished drawings and preliminary studies. The main characteristic of charcoal as a medium is that unless it is fixed by the application of some form of gum or resin, which is just a fancy way to say fixative, okay, it is impermanent or easily erased or smudged. The characteristic determines its early use as a means of tracing an outline for a mural, either directly onto the wall or on a cartoon full-size drawing transferring a design to a mural. And it's used as a means of roughing in for an outline for a large painting on canvas. Okay, so you've got in your set, you have 2 types of charcoal. You have charcoal sticks and you have a charcoal pencil. Okay, I also gave you a little kneaded eraser that you're probably going to need. But that's all in your supply bag in a small Ziploc bag wrapped in paper towel. Okay, so sticks versus pencil. Charcoal sticks are used for larger, dark areas of color and scrapings for the indirect method. And the indirect method is going to be explained a little further down. But if you look at these examples up here, all of this darkness that you can see here in her jacket, even inside her hair, all of that is done with your charcoal sticks, okay? Pencils are used for precision work like facial features. Pencils must be sharpened with a handheld sharpener. They are far too soft to put in a machine. So make sure that you're sharpening them with a handheld, because if you sharpen them inside like an electro pencil sharpener or even the crank ones, the tip sometimes will break off inside the machine and then you've got a jam and you can't get it out. All right, they're very, very soft. All right, the indirect method of applying charcoals. Applying charcoals is a very delicate process. Much like chalk pastels, they lift easily, leave dust behind, and are easily blended. They also leave large, broad strokes, much like pastels. Because the sticks are exactly the same size and shape of a pastel, it's going to feel almost the same when you put it on paper. The only difference I would say is it feels a little scratchier when it goes on. That's really the only big major difference. However, it is very easy to apply charcoal to too heavy and too quickly. A light touch is required or an indirect method. Using the charcoal stick and a pair of scissors, scrape lightly on the outside of the stick to create a dust onto a piece of copy paper. Using a tissue or dry paintbrush, dab the dust lightly and rub it on a clean part of the paper to smear it around on the tissue or that paintbrush. Now apply that tissue or paintbrush to your paper lightly. It applies a light breath of color, okay? And you can build layers up, all right? There's a video going over how this is done. So you might want to, you definitely want to watch the video to see how the indirect method's done. One thing that I notice students do a lot with charcoal portraits is when they're trying to apply skin tone, which is a very, very light application of charcoal, and it should be very smooth. They have a really hard time getting that indirect method to work properly so that it doesn't look like a streaky, smeared mess. And then the person ends up looking dirty on their face. So my suggestion to you is to practice that indirect method and make sure that you've got it before you go to the face and just go hog wild, okay? All right, so the next section is blending. Charcoals are very easily blended and smudged. It's important not to use your finger when blending charcoals. The oils from your hands will make it nearly impossible to blend smoothly and will not erase if you make a mistake. Always use a blending stump, dry paintbrush, or tissues, paper towels, napkins. You can even wrap a tissue around the end of a mechanical pencil to create a nice sharp point to get into smaller areas. A Q-tip also makes a great blender. Always spray with fixative if available, or protect with a cover sheet. Okay. So a notable artist that I like to include when doing this project is an artist named Kathy Kollwitz. And her original name was Kathy Schmidt until she got married. She died in 1945. She is a German graphic artist and sculptor who was an eloquent advocate for victims of social injustice, war, and inhumanity. Her work features images in black charcoal and etchings depicting portraits of despair and sadness, as you can see in these examples here and these examples here. Okay, so I like to include her because her work mirrors what we're doing. Okay, or our project is going to mirror her work. All right, so proportions of the head and face. It's going to be very important for you guys to make sure that you do this along with the demonstration so that you get the proportions in the right place, okay? And I included this little graphic here just because it's very important for you to realize that not all heads are this shape, okay? Because this is one that I get a lot with this project. I get these unrealistic ovals for every person's face. And you need to realize that every person's face is different, okay? And look at your picture that you are drawing and mimic that on your paper and not what you think the face shape is, okay? So in the next demonstration, it's gonna go over this graphic here, okay? It's gonna give you perfect proportions of a head and face. It's going to tell you how to map out the head and face, okay? Understand that the eyes fall exactly in the center of a human head, okay? Exactly center. And so when you are mapping this out on your paper, if you put them too high or too low, it's gonna throw the whole entire thing off and then your drawing is not going to be accurate. So what I always tell students, and like I said, you're gonna do this along with the demonstration so you get these in the right spot. This is a visual to help you remember some of these things, okay? First off, you outline the head, then you put a line straight through the center of that head shape, halfway between the top of the head and the bottom of the chin is where that eye line will fall. Then you're going to intersect vertically, okay? And that line should be right dead in the center, going vertically down, right through the tip of the nose, through the middle of the lips, and through the middle of the chin. The next line that you'll put is a horizontal line halfway between the eye line and your chin, okay? And that is going to show you where the bottom of the nose falls. Then you're going to intersect one more time, a horizontal line between the bottom of the nose and the chin, and that will show you where the bottom of the lip is. Now, if that person's mouth is open, that chin line, that line does not hit the bottom of the chin anymore. It's now going to hit somewhere in the middle of the mouth. Okay, so these nuances in your drawings are going to help you figure out where things belong. As long as you put it halfway between where this line fell and the bottom of the chin is, you'll know where to put things when you get onto your paper, okay? You'll draw tick marks at the edge of each eye or the corners of each eye, which shows that there are 5 eye lengths that go all the way across that face, okay? The next thing you'll draw is a dotted line from the corner, the inner corner of each eye, down straight to the bottom of the nose, and that is going to give you a nice little box to put the nose in. You'll do the same thing with the center of the eyes. You'll go straight down to the lip line, and that will give you a nice little box to fit the lips in, okay? Okay, so other little fun facts, the top of the ears lines up with the corner of your eyes horizontally. Your bottom of the ears line up with the bottom of the nose horizontally. Your face is the same size as your hand. And I'm talking from wrist to longest finger. Your face is the same size as that. And you can fit 3 head widths from shoulder to shoulder. So I'm talking from here to here. I can fit one here, and that's the width of my shoulder. And I can fit one on this side, and that is the width of my shoulder. Okay, that's so that you don't get the shoulders too narrow or too broad. All right, so again, demonstration, we're gonna go over this step by step. Okay, here are the portraits that you can choose from. My suggestion to you is to zoom in on whichever one you are going to draw, and you can pick any one of these you want. You'll zoom in on one of them and you will save it on your phone or on your Google Drive or both, okay? And the reason you need to do that is because the next step to drawing this portrait, you're gonna need it, you're gonna need a copy of that so that we can do our portrait mapping, okay? All right, so you pick one of those. All right, the supplies that you're gonna need for this project. Now, this list evolved as I worked on this lesson plan. It's not exactly the same as what was in your supply bag. There's a couple more things added that I thought might be of better help. Okay, so charcoal stick and pencil, a regular pencil, 18 by 24 white paper with the orange dot on it, the photo from above, masking tape, copy or lined paper, either or, a kneaded eraser, which is in your bag, tissues, paper towels, napkins, whichever you choose, just have something available, okay? A thin marker in a light color, but not yellow. So like for me, I might pick something like this, Flair pen, light orange. You need a light color. It can be any marker though. You can also use a colored pencil, but don't use a dark color, all right? And you're gonna need a dry paintbrush, which you can find in your supply bag. All right, the steps. First off, choose a photo from the 9 above, copy it and paste it into a Google Doc, save it. Somehow, however you choose to save it, as long as it fills the frame, all right? So if I were to pull it up on my phone, it fills my phone frame, okay? You can also access the lesson document on your phone, zoom in, the chosen photo and screenshot it, either or, you just need a copy of it, okay? Number 2, enlarge the photo so that it's the only thing on the screen, or it's mostly the only thing on the screen. Using a piece of copy paper or loose leaf paper, you are going to place that paper, you know, if I were you, I would cut it if you're doing it on your phone because it's going to be like enormous, okay? So maybe cut it into a piece like this, fit that over top of your phone, all right? You want to make sure that the piece of paper fits and is a little larger than your phone, okay? So you're going to tape it down, all right? That's my suggestion to you so that it doesn't move while you're working. You don't need a huge piece of tape, just one little piece of tape, tape it to your phone case so that it's not gonna wiggle around on you, okay? If you're doing this on your Chromebook, same thing. Probably a full sheet of paper will do. Lay it on your Chromebook screen and just tape it at the top, all right, so that it doesn't move around. What we're gonna do is we're going to trace the portrait. And the reason we're tracing the portrait is because we have to create a map so that when we draw this on our paper, we're doing it accurately. And so the little piece of paper tracing is going to be very important for us to move forward in making sure that this is done correctly, okay? All right, so using the copy paper, loose leaf paper, place it over the screen and tape it so it doesn't move. Number 3, using the light colored marker, trace the portrait map like the one above, right over your picture. Again, I'm going to demonstrate it down here in this video under number 4. So don't panic if you're like, what? I don't know how to do that. Okay. Number 4 says remove the tracing and get out a piece of 18 by 24 paper with the orange dot. Looking at the map, which is just a few shapes and lines, draw out the map lightly on your paper in pencil. Try to make sure your portrait fills the page as it does in the original. Hint, if the picture is landscape, the original picture is landscape, you need to hold your paper that way, okay? So don't be trying to take a landscape picture and turning it into a vertical format. That's not gonna work, okay? You're gonna end up with skewed proportions, all right? This video for steps number 2 through 4 is going to show you how to do steps number 2 through 4. Okay, I'm going to demonstrate it for you, so don't panic. Number 5, once you have the portrait mapped out, begin refining the head shape, adding the features, shoulders if they're there, hair shape, etc. Notice I said hair shape. I mean, what space is the hair taking up? Do not try to draw the hair, okay? You just try to draw the space the hair is taking up. This should all be done in pencil, no shading. Number 6, move over to charcoal use. Begin by adding all over tones using that indirect method, facial tone, hair tone, shirt tone, etc. This is done using the indirect method for very light areas. Try to make sure your tones are smooth, okay? Avoid this when you're working, okay? You're gonna blow charcoal dust all over your house, okay? My suggestion, lay out some newspapers or something. Like I like these crappy $3 tablecloths from Walmart. They have like felt on one side, so they're super soft on one side, and then they're vinyl on the other side, so you can wipe them off. I like to take my paper like this and kind of tap it on the desk to get off the excess, okay? Don't wipe it like this because you're gonna end up with charcoal smeared all across the paper. That's a problem, all right? Let's see. Number 7, go back and begin shading the features with charcoal. Also begin working on the hair. I have added some videos to help you with those areas below. So these videos are good in a sense. It just kind of depends on what your particular person looks like. But it's going to be real informative to help you with figuring out how these things are done, shading wise, how they tackled it from start to finish. Okay, so that's kind of important. So I've included a bunch here, but by all means, go on YouTube, type in how to draw a nose in charcoal, how to draw lips in charcoal. There are tons of videos out there that are going to help you with that process. Okay. Number 8, complete the entire drawing using charcoals, including the background. No background in any of those pictures up top is stark white. So I shouldn't see any stark white backgrounds in your finished product. Complete a critique sheet when you're all done. Spray with fixative if you have some at home. Fixative can be the fixative that you buy in the art store, or you can use an aerosol hairspray. What is an aerosol hairspray? It's the one in the metal can that when you spray down on it, it sprays continuously. Okay, so like it's similar to spray paint, the way spray paint sprays. If your hairspray goes pump, 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 pump to get the spray out, that's not going to work. You're going to mess it up. You only can use an aerosol hairspray, the one with a continuous spray. So when I go, and it sprays without me picking my finger up, okay? All right, so grading for this project, 10 points for placement, so how you placed it on the paper, 20 points for proportion, 20 for shading, 20 for charcoal technique, 10 for craftsmanship, 10 for creativity, and 10 for the final critique. All right, for submitting your work. Number 1, you're gonna put your name on the front of your work, photograph your work. Number 2, you're gonna complete a critique sheet using Kami, written on a piece of paper and photographed, or complete using Google Doc. Number 3, upload your critique and your charcoal portrait to Google Classroom under Project 5 when you are all completely done.